Scout, TF2's glass cannon, and one of my favorite classes to play as. Now, ever since TF2's release, Scout was one of the most balanced classes right out of the box. Being able to whip out massive amounts of damage, plus having high mobility to dodge enemy attacks, you'd think he'd be an overpowered broken class. But thanks to his relatively low health, his strong abilities are kept in check. But ever since the introduction of unlockable weapons for the different classes and the Gold Rush / Medic update, the balances of the classes were, well, let's just say challenged. Especially with the Scout's unlocks, the early versions of TF2, the weapons ranged from pretty meh to oh my god, what is this horse crap? Now, in modern day TF2, the melee and secondary unlocks for Scout are pretty tame, but for his primary, everyone pretty much agrees that the Scattergun is Scout's most powerful and reliable primary. The days of Scout running so fast you couldn't hit him, Scout being granted mini crits just for running, is now behind us. Now, if you want a more in-depth history of Scout as a class in TF2, then I really recommend Lister's video on this topic since they go really in-depth and it's a really well-made video, so you should go watch it. But in my opinion, while the Scattergun is the best choice overall, there is one weapon that outshines it when it comes to the most fun. Meet the Force of Nature, a short double-barrel shotgun that is actually Scout's first weapon unlock. Aside from being visually different from the Scattergun, the Force of Nature's stats include a 50% increase in firing speed, a 20% more bullets per shot, provides a knockback on the target and on yourself, we'll talk about the knockback later, a minus 10% damage penalty, and you only have 2 shots in the gun. Now, even equipping this weapon for the first time, you can immediately tell that the gun's playstyle is different from the Scattergun, with the Force of Nature being more encouraging of a more in-your-face, hit-and-run kind of playstyle, or a fast cleanup of your enemies, while the Scattergun meanwhile makes you commit in a 1v1 fight more often. While the Scattergun deals consistent damage and is fairly nice to you when you miss your shots when in a 1v1 fight, the Force of Nature meanwhile, you really need to be good at aiming when you use this since you only get 2 shots when it comes to killing your enemy. But even if you do manage to land both of your shots, it won't kill all of your enemies, specifically heavy. But is that enough to say the Force of Nature is bad? Oh my lord, no. Because of the 50% extra bullets that the gun has, and the holy stat of knockback. It makes this weapon so gosh darn fun to use. While it may not be a reliable weapon like the Scattergun, the damage you deal against light classes and even middleweight classes like Pyro or Soldier is just so satisfying to use. Seeing that huge damage number, hearing those damage sounds, and the Force of Nature's sound design, it just brings tears to my eyes. But you will need the pistol, so the Force of Nature would be reliable in a 1v1 fight, since, in my opinion, the small clip size combined with a slow reload speed will really put you in a bad spot if you don't have a backup weapon, aka a pistol. While you can find success in just having the Force of Nature, like I said, your aim needs to be on point, and you have to rely on more dodging when you're reloading this weapon. But I think the pros just outweigh the cons. I mean, this thing goes BAM! BAM! And the enemy sleeps. It's just really fun to tooth out some poor soul with this thing. Don't let the stat that says the gun deals 10% less damage than the Scattergun fool you, because in reality, the Force of Nature deals more damage than the Scattergun because of the extra bullets per shot. And I don't think I need to tell you that extra bullets, well, how do I word this? Aha! Extra hurts the enemies. There's probably a better way to word that. But that isn't the best aspect of the Force of Nature, in my opinion. The best feature of the Force of Nature, in my opinion, is the force you give your enemies from your first shot, aka the knockback. The knockback ability is probably the best upside that the Force of Nature has. You can have the upper hand by suddenly repositioning your enemy, disorienting them for a quick second before they can line up their shot to shoot you. And that is where you get the chance to finish the job. Especially when you're flanking and ambushing with the Force of Nature and sending them flying. Now, picking up the Force of Nature for the first time, it does require you to practice, however, because as much as I like the knockback on this weapon, without practice, it will screw you over just because the knockback kind of functions like Pyro's Air Blast, where sometimes the target will go so far from you that if you aren't fast enough to hit that second shot, you'll be the one who will get outpositioned. Since remember, the Force of Nature is still a shotgun, and shotguns don't deal that much damage when your target is far away. So as much as the knockback is fun, not having enough practice with it will end up with you being in trouble. But because the knockback on the Force of Nature is so strong, you can do what Pyro does and push enemies into danger of your team or environmental hazards in a map like, say, a cliff. It is so funny seeing your target just fly away into your team's cold, hard, deadly embrace. Speaking of flanking, the Force of Nature also grants you extra mobility, more specifically a triple jump. Now, there's already a weapon for a scout that grants him a real triple jump, that being the Atomizer. But what the Atomizer can't do is for you to utilize your triple jump in a 1v1 fight, since you can't triple jump with the Atomizer when you're not holding it. This spat can really only be used for pure mobility purposes, aka when you're trying to flank. Meanwhile, you can utilize the Force of Nature's self-knockback while in that one-on-one, using it to reposition yourself or escaping in a tricky situation, which is nice. So, I really like the Force of Nature. It's by far my favorite way to play Scout these days. Now, I wanted to call the Babyface Scout's most fun weapon, but thinking about it for like 5 minutes and yeah, I just prefer the Force of Nature way more. Now, what is the point of this video? I don't know. I really just want to gush about my favorite scout weapon, so yeah, go away now.